Hello everyone, welcome back. I'm Nina Simon, co-founder of SheSapiens, and I have the honor today to be your podcast host. I'm feeling super honored to present you today to Anel Imanbay. She's a serial entrepreneur, TEDx license holder and organizer of TEDxMarvila. So I'm very happy to introduce you to Anel. Welcome.
Thank you so much for inviting me over.
I know you have a lot of things to do currently on your task list, but maybe could you guide us a little bit through your journey? How did you end up from working in corporate environments to being a TEDx organizer?
I think the love towards TED was born long ago, before I even started working. So I was always a curious mind. And I think that actually led me to become a license holder. And I think one of the, I would say, pivotal moment was when I really understood in my life that I want to do something meaningful for the community that I live in, and bringing big minds and new ideas to Marvila was a great way to thank community, and yes, that's how that came to my life.
Yeah, and as we know, like every TEDx has a different theme, and I think that the topic that you chose for your first edition is actually also super meaningful. It's called The Art of Being Human. And please explain us, how did you come up with this topic? Why is the art of being human so important to you?
I think when people hear this theme, it goes without saying. I think what I appreciate that everyone resonate and find this theme very important, especially in the world we live today. For me, when I got my license in August 24, I had no doubt that it should be the art of being human, mainly because sometimes myself, I feel helpless to make positive impact, or I feel like there's not enough what I do back to the world. And I think the way we can start doing positive change is by looking at our core. What is it being human? So the theme of Art of Being Human was chosen precisely to remind people that regardless all the changes we're going through, COVID, war, tech changes, we have to remember our basic core. Who are we?
That's so powerful, and I really love that, because nowadays in our capitalistic world, it's all about AI and technology and hard skills, and sometimes we really forgot like things like empathy, like connection. And you know, SheSapiens, we're a community of female entrepreneurs, and I would love to know, where do you see exactly the connection between empathy and creating meaningful connections? Where does this play a role in entrepreneurship from your experience?
For me, it's everywhere. I started my career in Big Four as an auditor, then financial analyst in M&As. Then I moved to education, gaming, so you just name it. I worked in partnership with Meta, Google, Apple, like tech giants, Samsung. And I think even in the corp world, when you work and you try to climb the ladder, if you do it with a purpose for yourself, meaning if you ask yourself, are you happy in what you're doing? Are you driving the change that you believe in? Then your partners, your clients feel it. Whether it's a small business, I also run a beauty business in Lisbon. If it's B2C or B2B, I think people feel authenticity. So in my opinion, being authentic, being genuine, it is also expressing your empathy. And TEDxMarvila, in this case, it's a perfect stage for that, because TEDx worldwide, their big agenda is to drive changes through bringing ideas that worth spreading, through bringing meaningful connections. And lots of case studies, historical case studies show that when TEDx comes to the neighborhoods, lots of projects get developed.
A lot of people get encouraged to start their own passion projects. But as we know as founders, like sometimes even though we are running our passion projects, things are not always going easy or smoothly. So what was maybe one of the biggest challenges that you faced, like launching this project here in Lisbon?
I think I would say that for at least my journey was quite smooth because the first thing that I did after getting my license, I really had strong mindset what I want to do next. So I really wanted to have someone from HR background, corporate HR background, who will help me to hire all the volunteers. So if you ask me, would I ever be able to do it all by myself? No. So the first person who arrived to my team was Chief of Staff, Tatiana Michalevich, who is co-organizer, and she's the one who helped me to recruit all the volunteers. So I think number one challenge is always to have the right people next to you. People who will believe in your vision, who will really give their best they can. So I think that's, for me, in any business, in any work you have, the people. People, those who really you feel aligned, who you feel you can trust. And number two, of course, TEDx, I actually, for some reason in Lisbon at least, many people didn't know that TEDx is fully non-profit organization. So I'm a license holder, but I'm a volunteer as well. So I don't get paid for running TEDx. Though all those people who are helping me, they're also not getting paid. So it's fully volunteer-driven event. And
but you don't get the venue for free.
It depends how you negotiate. So I think the main struggle for, at least in this project for me, was to, of course, convince partners and sponsors to help me to run this event, because of course, when I raise money for business, you can explain the value, you can explain the ROI. But in TEDx, no sponsor or partner logo can be on stage. So there's no brand awareness for the partner. Here's the biggest challenge, right? How do you convince your partners and sponsors to invest in your project? That was a difficult one.
I see. And there maybe you infused a little bit of your experience of storytelling, and I saw that you're also a podcast host. Is that right?
Yes, yeah. I have a podcast, Voices of the World, where we share extraordinary stories of ordinary people. And I'm also from commercial background, so it's not about storytelling. I think it's going back to empathy, connection, and authenticity. For me, when I go after a partner and ask their help, I genuinely tell that you guys not going to get anything in return except of driving positive change in the place we live in. Because TEDx is a stage for both local people, local small voices to be heard worldwide, because YouTube of TEDx has over 45 million subscribers. But also what I wanted to do with TEDxMarvila is bringing global minds to neighborhood of Marvila. So people who live here, they also can grasp something new and interesting as well. So it's kind of a blender of local and foreign world together. So in this case, it pushing on what does really matter. And what matters is to drive positive changes.
I love that. And as you might know, with SheSapiens, we also have a little bit of this vision, like start local, go global, but also vice versa, always connect back and bring the lessons that you learned on an international scale. And I know that you yourself, you have lived in many different countries and even continents, I think. How was that for you, like working in so many different cultural environments? Like,
I think here I would like to thank my parents, because I'm originally from Kazakhstan, and when I was 16, there was of course choice whether you stay in Kazakhstan and you pursue your education. And I remember my father told me, Anel, you can stay in Kazakhstan and I will support you as much as I can. He literally told me, I can buy you a car, I can buy you a house, you will have an amazing life, jewelry, whatever, you don't need to worry about your life. But all of that can be broken and lost, except for education and knowledge. So he told me, if you really want to get a good knowledge and education, it's best to go to top universities or top countries where you can get good knowledge. And that will stay with you forever. So answering your question, I've studied financial economics in UK, I've studied marketing and here in Lisbon. I've also am doing my PhD in data-driven marketing. So I've been always learning. And I also lived in Namibia, in Turkey in my life. So it's been a wide journey which helped me to shape who I am today. And when I traveled and live and integrated in those countries, you start to learn, first of all, appreciate what you have. You start to see, go beyond your comfort zone and see how how you can drive changes as well. Like in Namibia, I was living during COVID 2019 till 2021. And that was a pivotal moment when I saw the villages which live until today without water. And that was for me a great reminder that we here in Europe, we have massive privilege and we sometimes get depressed for literally no reason.
Yeah, and you said it, like knowledge is power, but sometimes we all need also inspiration. And if we're thinking about your upcoming event now, like what would you say is maybe your most inspiring female speaker? Although I know they might be all great, but it's like the first that comes into your mind right now.
It's a very tough question because we have total 16 speakers lineup, and all of them worked so hard and they passed through so many stages to be selected and then to come on our stage on 1st of March of TEDxMarvila. So in fact, I would say that every female speaker that you'll hear on our stage, they are super inspiring. They are unique in their own way. We have Anna Kozlova flying from Barcelona talking about genetics and motherhood. We have Natalie Turner, best-selling author, talking about innovation. We have Joanna Nobre, pharmacist, who is going to take us back to olfactorial senses, the importance of smell. There's so many. We have performance by Mia flying from Denmark and opening the show. We have opera singer. We have Gisela João, amazing fado singer of Portugal, who is going to perform and speak about freedom. Freedom that it was not here in Portugal during the revolution time. We have Selma Wamusi, amazing Mozambican Portuguese woman who lives in Marvila. So I cannot definitely tell you one single speaker because all of those women, they drive changes and make impact. So for me, all of them are golden.
I see. And even more important, if all of these amazing women get together, like beautiful things can happen, like in collaboration. And I think that this is also something that TEDx stands for, collaboration. And I'm very excited to hear how to stay better together, humane. So I'm very excited for your event. Anel, now we're here as female entrepreneurs, and we know that a lot of us are actually struggling to get financial support for their projects. You shared earlier that also you had to raise some money in order to get this beautiful venue that you're at. And I was wondering if you could maybe share some of your insights and hacks that would help our community to actually make their dreams come true.
I think it depends on the project. So I understand that probably in my case, raising money for TEDxMarvila was a little easier because TEDx is a very global and big brand. I know that there's lots of women out there because I'm also a small business owner. It's very hard to raise money when you have a small studio of beauty or maybe a wellness center and so on. But no matter what kind of business you run in, I think what's most important to understand the unique value proposition you're trying to bring through your project, and also who potentially could be interested in that target audience when it comes to investment. Because investors, what they want is not how much money you raised, actually. They want to understand what is your cash flow. Will you be able to sustain your business? Is it scalable or not? So I think there's certain questions that you should first ask yourself if you're prepared. And when it comes to support, if you're doing what you're supposed to do, support will come naturally. Because I think when you love what you do, your eyes, they light in a different way. You spark energy that actually just magnetic, and in my opinion, and people actually come to support you. Right now, even today, we're a week away from TEDxMarvila. I have brands texting me saying that we would like to be present. Could you consider last minute sponsorship and partnerships? And I think this is not because of how I pitch. It's because I really believed in the impact that I'm trying to bring through this project. And somehow universe does their magic. It sounds very poetic, I know, but I've worked in different fields, including the corp finance, including gaming, and it all aligns to the drive and vision of the leader.
And if you are not ready for
if
to
you
hold
don't
the
believe
container,
in
then
it, if you don't believe in your project, if you don't have an answer, what is your business in 5 years, in 10 years, if you don't believe that your business is scalable, and you don't have that drive yourself, forget, no one will invest in it.
Okay, that's powerful. And I think that nowadays we have like more and more entrepreneurs, and also thankfully even more women starting businesses. But I was wondering, where do you see the startup world like moving towards? Like, would you say that the startup world like becomes more and more impactful or purpose driven, or what would be your predictions of?
I'm not best to give you a forecast on that sense, but I think there is a massive shift after COVID as well. Like COVID happened and people were sitting at home, then the remote work started to become in place. Right now with the AI, we all concerned, are we going to be replaced by robots or not? And I think this is just a reminder that it's not about purpose-driven, it's about skill-based economy. So you need to have certain skills that you can offer to the market and the audience. Skills that cannot be replicated by AI, skills that it could be doing nails. It could be, today even surgery is done by robots, and they are more accurate, like data shows that they are more accurate than when the human is doing. But still, we are not ready for such sharp change when we will be willing to go to an appointment with an AI rather than medical doctor. Same as in beauty, like whether we're gonna have AI, I'm sure we can have a robot who will do your brushing and blow dry, but human touch is something that comes as our genetic memory. Sensorial memory is so important that we will be always looking for one-to-one and human touch. So I think for me it's not even a purpose-driven, it's more for me skill-driven future that we are looking for.
So number one, know yourself of what you're good at and where you want to head towards. And number two, staying humane, because in the end, that is what really makes the difference, right? The spark, as you described it, and our interrelational work that becomes more and more important.
Exactly.
Interesting. Thank you so much for taking the time today to come here and to share a little bit of your wisdom with us. So, if you enjoyed this episode, then make sure to subscribe, to follow us, and also, of course, check out SheSapiens website. We are always hosting events, having new initiatives, and see you next time.